Alright, into Unicorn Pack, and we're going for one of the oldest challenges in SAP today. That is the no roll challenge. So all you have to do is win a run without rolling a single time for the entire game. So very simple rules, but in practice it is very difficult and frustrating. Maybe difficult isn't necessarily the right word. It's one of these challenges that is definitely endurance based. It's how much disappointment can you actually tolerate. And by the end of this, I was really starting to lose the plot because Unicorn Pack is still a little bit of a mess at the moment on the live server. Very much looking forward to the newer version coming out in the near future. But at present, there are the usual teams that you expect. You're going to lose to Level Up, Jump, and Warg plus Kraken. And you're going to be doing that, 80-90% of the time. So you just have to get used to it and shrug it off every time you lose and go again. And you will end up with pretty odd looking teams like this one here. So I think here I've used Conpeto on something in order to turn it into a Manticore. So didn't really get what I wanted. And then on 8 trophies, we're just going to get matched with Team Spirit plus Warg, so automatic loss. Not much you can do about it. You just have to shrug it off and go again. I think maybe if we got something other than Manticore, we might have had a chance there, but as it turned out, 8 wins was the end for that run. Now this one's quite interesting because this is basically the dream setup. Other than the Trout, which came from, it was either Conpeto or Water of Youth, but we've ended up with the perfect quartet of broken units with Ogopogo, Team Spirit, Murmel, and Minotaur. And getting all of them to high level plus having some gingerbread it's just so unlikely. You can go hundreds of attempts without that happening. And here we are going to beat this team on turn 15 to move on to 9 wins. We actually ended up with Fairy Dust on the Trout as well. And then we get double chocolate in the shop, which is insanely unlikely. I think in this entire process, the number of chocolates that I ended up purchasing was probably less than 10. It's just so unlikely to see them. And we level up the Trout, and then we face this team. Everything stats below 10, 4 tier 1s, and a level 3 Team Spirit. Definitely getting out-murmeled here. It doesn't matter how good you think your team is, there's always a more broken team out there. I think there were a decent number of teams that we could have beaten there. Probably quite a few that we would still have lost to, the jump teams with the level 3 Frogman. But that was a tough one to take, especially since the shop had been so kind to us on the way. But I think it's a perfect illustration that you need perfect shop luck, but more than that, you also need very good luck for the opposing teams. So into the main run of the video, and we actually get very lucky here on the turn 2 shop to get double Alchemides, which gives us a level up for next turn. Oftentimes you're going to be going into turn 3 with no level ups, which is very frustrating when you're so used to playing with virtually guaranteed level ups on that turn. And you could see that I actually froze Water of Youth in the previous shop. That's because a lot of the time I was just risking it in order to potentially find a pet for a level up. So if we had 2 the same, then I would use the Water of Youth on the odd one out, like the Baku or the Wharf at the front here, and then just hope that we end up getting something useful. The other thing you can use it on is if you're, we're going to use it here, we just get Barghest, hoping for Murmel there for sure. But you can also use it on the roll pets, and that's something else that is very unusual about this pack, that there are a bunch of units in it whose abilities cannot be used at all. So we've got Bunyip on tier 1, and then we've got Bigfoot, Mana Hound, Ouroboros, Nessie, Worm of Sand, and Yeti. So all of those are basically useless. And the only thing you can use them for is water vuthing or competoing them. You know, I guess some of them have okay base stats. So you just have to be very careful not to keep Yeti in your team, because it's going to automatically roll the shop. So it is a bit awkward, but it's not all doom and gloom in this pack, because there are a lot of very, very strong early game pets that you can just keep the whole way. And so you can often get into these early game situations where it feels like your team is quite solid, and then really it all just falls apart in the later turns when you're not able to find any of the units that you need to actually have a chance. So we are going to win here by... Oh no, it's going to be a tie. That's a bit unfortunate, but you know, we stay alive. Now here we get Frostwolf in the shop, and it is kind of awkward with Marmal, where you have the gingerbread already. You don't really want to give up on the level ups. Fair enough here, it's only a level 1 Marmal, so we wouldn't lose out on that much. But yeah, I'm going to keep it for the next turn, in the hopes that we actually find something a bit stronger than any of the tier 4 units. There aren't actually that many tier 5s that I would be all that interested in. Every time I took Salmon of Knowledge, it was just a disaster and I automatically lost. But we are actually going to win here. I think Salmon of Knowledge probably makes more sense if you have a level 3 Marmal already. Whereas at level 1, you know, giving that EXP to the other team just isn't worth it. Now, we're falling into a standard pattern here of just buying all the food. Unfortunately, in Unicorn Pack, the food is pretty awkward. There's a lot of stuff that you just don't want to buy, really. Once you've got gingerbread, once you've maybe got like a health potion or Easter egg like we do here, there's not going to be anything that you really want to buy in the food shop for a long time. And when you get to the late game, the odds of actually getting chocolate or cornucopia, which are the auto buys a lot of the time when you're playing the game normally, you're just not going to find those things very frequently. So again, another turn where we just buy 1 health potion onto the Mothman. It's doing okay, I guess, but it's pretty much already falling off here on turn 8. I think we might be able to get away with a win here, though. Yeah, the Mermal gets up to 6-15, so we do actually win again. But this kind of luck just isn't going to last, though. So we actually keep the Frostwolf level up to turn 9, and we get Phoenix or Cerberus. So I think Phoenix is the obvious choice here. I'm actually going to keep the Mothman, which is a little bit surprising. Actually, I think I probably could just sell Mothman here and buy the Vampire Bat, which clearly is just a straight up upgrade. Vampire Bat definitely not one of the strongest units in the pack at the moment. It is being buffed on the test server to actually work 3 times. But the main benefit of it here is that we're hoping to get matched with teams that have weaker units in second position. So for instance, Tatsel Worm, a Minotaur that's unscaled. What else could there be? Yeah, okay, here's one. It's Wharf Kraken, but we are going to get a couple of kills here. The Vampire Bat hangs on with 2 HP. Or 1 HP, was it? And I think, yep, as a result of the crisp, we are going to win by 1 health. So that really is the game plan. We just have to hope that the pets on the opposing team work out perfectly for our build. Now here, I think I'm going to take the level up on the Mermal just in case we get something good from the tier 6 options. Sleipnir, Sea Serpent, not really going to do it for us. So I think I'm just going to take the double Trout, because then that gives us a potential level up, both in terms of getting Mermal stats, but also just for looking for more tier 6s. The tier 6s in this pack are very, very good. So we just have to hope that we get a good one if we can find the duplicate. So another team where we're going to remove some units with the Vampire Bat. They are going to spawn an 18-18 Lion from the Chimera, but the health that the Vampire Bat stole actually makes a big difference there. So we notch up another trophy. And okay, we actually get offered Cornucopia here, which is a a real treat. And I think definitely I'll take pancakes here rather than melon. We don't really have any units big enough to justify the melon, and we don't have any level ups yet for the mermal to actually gain more stats. And then we'll just switch the Frostwolf to have higher attack, since it's probably going to die in one hit anyway. Manticore Red Dragon, the Phoenix hangs on with 1 HP, and we get a double kill with the Vampire Bat. I think, it's going to have just enough to kill the Tiger Bug, and then again, the Crisp does great stuff, removing the Yggdrasil fruit. So really surprising that this team is still going. It's such a mess, really. It's a complete mixture of archetypes. I guess we're focusing on ailment here, but the Trout and the Mermal don't really have much to do. Now, I'm going to bring in this Manticore. Because we're relying so heavily on the Vampire Bat potentially killing stuff that's important on the opposing team, it's much better to double the damage from the from the cold rather, and give us a higher chance of actually removing those linchpin units. And here's a perfect example where they have Jackalope in the second position, so we get rid of it, but are the stats from the Frogman going to be enough to save this team? And I think, the low attack on the Vampire Bat is just not going to be good enough there, and we barely lose. So now you can feel that, that you get that sinking feeling that everything is starting to fall apart again, just like it has in every other run. And we get presented with this shop, which is absolutely awful. I think I was pausing for thought there because I was considering selling Manticore for Quetzalcoatl, but really we can't do that. We're committed to this ailment team, and we actually get matched with a Pichu opponent, and the extra Mana Snipe hits the Vampire Bat, which was the only pet that could have survived, and we are going to win again by virtue of the young Phoenix just having enough HP. So can we find an opponent bad enough on turn 14 for this team to beat it? Luckily, I got the order right there, but again, another turn where we only buy 2 very weak food items. And look at this opponent. What is going on here? A complete mismatch of units, kind of like our own team in some respects. They've got Kitsune plus Frogman, and it ends up being a bit of a walkover. So, thank you very much to Kittens6 there for sparing me any more agony in the no-roll challenge in Unicorn Pack. Now we will use the feature just to double check, and you can see, they had a level 3 Chimera with the Kitsune, and then they compatoed it into a tier 5. I'm not exactly sure why, but you can see there, it turns into Pichu, and I guess they do another one. They get Minotaur. I guess it was on the following turn which they converted it into Frogman and Worm of Sand. Maybe they were going for some kind of challenge, like trying to get a full team where everything was transformed. I would love to know. So Kitten6, if you're watching, please let me know what was going on there. But thanks again for helping me complete the no-roll challenge in Unicorn Pack.